Well, their film has made it to the Oscars as India's official entry into the Oscars. It's the 95th Oscar. So let's start with that story first. Siddharth Roy Kapoor, Dheer Mumaya, and Nalin, thank you very, very much. Congratulations first up. Let me first ask you कि Friday को picture देखें या Thursday को 95 rupees में देखें? Siddharth.
If you are not intending to watch it on Friday, then please watch it on Thursday for 95 rupees. Otherwise,
but what's the thought? Because 95th Oscar, so that's why Thursday you can watch it 95 rupees.
The name of the film is Last Film Show, so we thought that we'll be remiss in our marketing efforts if we don't do a last film show on the eve of the release. Secondly, the idea really is to get as many people to sample the film as possible. So 95 rupees and the sort of 95th Academy Awards was a nice little marketing peg, but also, frankly, a sampling exercise to make sure that as many people can watch the film and get the word of mouth going. So that's really the plan behind it.
Well, I have to say, मैंने तो picture देख ली, but फिर भी just for that last film show, I will do it. But Nalin, let me ask you, should I watch the Last Film Show or Chhello Show, or should I watch Cinema Paradiso? We're having some fun about that on Twitter.
Both. I would say watch both, absolutely, any day.
Because you were also cryptic. Is it a copy or is it inspired? And you're also having fun with those who said, "अरे ये तो 88 की जो picture है, जिसको award मिला वैसी picture वापस बनाई है इसने." So let me ask you that.
The answer will be there. There's a very generous invitation now to sample the film with only $95. All it costs is 95 rupees Thursday night. All answers will be there.
But I also want to do, did you deliberately poke the bear when you guys decided, let's make the posters look alike? Let's use the same inspiration. So you said, a copy of inspiration and decided to video. I said, no, I want to poke the bear here.
No, because we live in an information age of images, and there was only one way to look at the film. If you look at even Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, even our own Dada Saheb Phalke, they all look the movie same way, whether it's Cinema Paradiso, Godard, is the most famous iconic image is Godard looking at the film with cigar in his mouth. So I think that was, it's how the cinema was celebrated, because it has to be always against the light to be seen, otherwise it meant nothing. If there was no light, the celluloid had no meaning,
But SRK will say, any publicity is good publicity. Even if it's negativity, bad news travels faster because people will talk about the movie.
You said it.
So did you know you'll get into it? No, you're not disagreeing.
Well, to some extent, all publicity is good publicity. It's just that in this particular case, for every filmmaker, a film is very close and dear to them. And I think it's really important that audiences watch the film and make their minds up for themselves, because, this is a film that's inspired by Nalin's own childhood, growing up, in a village and falling in love with cinema. So, and in that sense, any film that is about film and that is about being inspired by film will have certain similar themes. But I think when audiences watch the film, they'll realize that, each film is beautiful in its own right. Cinema Paradiso is a wonderful film. And I believe Last Film Show is a wonderful film.
I want to just add one small thing, that when cinema, all the action were introduced, the very first film had John Huston holding the gun. Why don't we say every other movie is a copy of John Huston movies? There's only one way to hold the gun, There's one way to hold the film.
See, my point is, the simplest answer, Dheer, can be that आप लोगों ने पैसा लगाया है. So I'm sure you would have checked कि भाई ये original है, inspiration है, copy है. I'm sure you would also checked about that.
अरे मैं सच बताऊं, उनके पहले अगर उनको पता होता है कॉपी है तो ज्यादा पैसा लगा.
Because उसको काफी Oscar मिले इसलिए.
Yeah, and it's not only us. The selection committee at Tribeca, who programmed us as the opening film of the Spotlight, the jury at Valladolid Cemetery, who gave us the Golden Spike Award. It was the first Indian film to get it after 40 years. Our multiple distributors, Samuel Goldwyn Films, Shochiku in Japan, Medusa in Italy, which is where Cinema Paradiso comes from. all of them would have to be completely insane, right, to have not seen it over multiple viewings and over multiple business decisions. So I guess, people are passionate and, people have passionate responses to things. And I don't even blame the audience completely because the people who said that, because they hadn't watched the film. It wasn't available for them to watch. So like Nalin and Sid are saying, October 14th is right around the corner. So we're really excited to see what people say. And Nalin did poke the bear with a couple of tweets.
That's what I'm saying. I saw that and I said, "Arey, isko to maja aa raha hai. He's enjoying it. Nalin, he's enjoying the attention." And he said,
how do you deal with such allegation? That's the only way. You have to find humor in it. And as far as I know in my heart, and we all know as a filmmaker and a team, that what we have done with sincere honesty to tell certain kind of a story. So.
But आपको वो लड़का कैसे मिला ये मुझे बताइए. To have hair like yours right now, and then did your dad also say कि बाल कटवाएगा कि नहीं कटवाएगा? But you use those references. It has to become slice of life. It has to happen. These moments come only when it has happened with you. And then you say, अच्छा इसको किधर से तो दिखाऊं मैं. Is that true?
It was again a constant discussion. Jatiya kata ke lao, like.
Correct.
My answer was my hair alone, and Bhavin Rabari's casting literally, sort of saved the narrative and storytelling of this film. It was not an easy casting. I thought that, okay, we do have a lot of child actors now who speak fluent Gujarati or come from Gujarat. And, so the initial stages of casting in the obvious places like Mumbai and Ahmedabad, where there's a entertainment industry where kids work in television and cinema. But those auditions were really not up to the mark. It was, in fact, the opposite. It was everything which I didn't want Samay to be. The body language, the mannerism, the way of acting, it was a disaster, the first round of auditions, and it was almost depressing. So with Dilip Shankar, who is the casting director, and Jackie Ramchandani and Nayan Rana, the few other associate casting director, we came up with strategy that, like in the story of the film, why not we go to the remote part of Kathiawad and look for kids who very rarely go to see cinema, or have not seen it. And let's see what kind of freshness exists in their existence, and that paid off, because once we started looking at those kids one after another, we, at the end of all those process, we did find Bhavin Rabari. But by then, we had been through 3,000 kids.
No, wow, 3,000 kids.
Yes,
that's a. I'll come back to the making of the movie because I think there's an interesting story. You finished the shooting. COVID से पहले पता लेना क्यों ना? Just
luck.
Luck. But I have to ask Siddharth this question. Bachchan Saab just turned 80. Happy birthday, Bachchan Saab. And he said that this is going to bring back the lost cause of celluloid and 35mm. But उनका एक dialogue है ना, मेरे पास गाड़ी है, बंगला है, बैंक बैलेंस है, तुम्हारे पास क्या है? So this is a question that a lot of the other hopefuls are also asking. तुम्हारे पास क्या है? Because उनके पास गाड़ी है, बंगला है, बड़ा नाम है, बड़ा बैनर है, पैसा है.
हमारे पास सिनेमा है.
But you think it's going to be easy, difficult to make your story, make your presence felt? How are we going to do it? Because it's also about lobbying, Siddharth. So, on a serious note, you are up against some really, really big stories and big banners. Were you surprised that you got picked ahead of some of the others who have, for their credit, done some phenomenal work, and they've actually been agents of change in the way they've spun the narrative in their own body, with their own body of work?
Sure. No, film is such a subjective medium. There's nothing binary about it. There's no black or white. A jury will make a selection, and I guess we just all have to go along with it. In this case, we were on the right side of the fence. In certain other cases, we might not have been. We're just honored and privileged to have been chosen, and we intend to put our best foot forward at the Academy Awards. We've got great partners in Sam Goldwyn Films in the US, and then we've got Orange Studios in Europe. They've been behind some of the most successful, films in the foreign language category in the last few years. And with their help and guidance, we intend to be able to get as many members of the Academy to watch the film as possible. the extent of, I mean, we talk about lobbying and it sounds like a lot of smoke and mirrors, but really it's about getting the Academy members to watch the film. And that's really what our intention is going to be in the next few months. And if Dheer wants to add anything to that, then Dheer, please go ahead.
Yeah, no.
अभी तक उसको talk time ही नहीं दिया ना धीर को.
I'm happy just listening. But no, I think adding to what Sid said, earlier it was really challenging to get Academy members to watch the film because you'd have to send them 35mm prints, wherever they were in the world, because how else do you get them to vote for the film? No one's going to vote for a film without watching it. And especially to get members of the international committee to watch the film because they have to watch all 15. The rules have changed slightly now, which has made it slightly easier for them to watch the film. There's a streaming platform that the Academy has, so they can watch it online, remotely, wherever they are in the world, which is great. And now the new rules say that if you're on the international committee, you have to watch all the 15 films that are assigned to you. It's just a compulsion. Otherwise, you're not allowed to vote. So it's become slightly easier. Of course, there's going to be a publicity campaign that needs to be put out, which will be extensive. And, we're lucky to have Sid, us, we have Orange Studio, we have Samuel Goldwyn Films. So we have, a few people there, and Sid has had experience before. He's had a couple of entries that have gone before. Both our partners have won multiple Academy Awards for films like The Father and The Artist, and just 2 years ago with another round. So I feel like we're in good hands, and where we'll fight to get that nomination and hopefully the win.
Well, fingers crossed on that. It's for India, so that this one has to be for India. But Nalin, did you get a reaction from? Did you ever tell your parents or your dad, "I want to be a filmmaker"? वो भी slice of life है क्या? वो जो reaction?
I mean, when I did tell him in early stage that I want to become a filmmaker, of course he didn't even know what he meant. His reaction was always there that whatever stories he had heard, he thought people who make films are not good people. That's it, because they thought they don't have moral, there is no virtue, there's no value. And that mainly came from the cinema, what people must be watching, whether this action scene or item numbers or, whatever, it's small country talk. He very rarely went to see cinema. So for him, it was very abstract, it was not, because, when you are in a small village like that and you grew up on a railway station, your few professions are in front of you: railway engineer, station master, ticket checker, So he said you should do one of those things, and just get enough education. And he knew friends who can just put in a word for me and things like that. But very soon when he started talking to my fine arts teacher in the school, he was very supportive. He understood that I'm not going to study, So he was
but you've been very candid about the character of the father. The father knows where he is. The father the son also turns around and says, you're also a Brahmin. Kya abhi samosa bech raha hai, chai bech raha hai. He's very candid. But the father also says, don't be a loser like me. So the father is also saying, I want a better life for you. So
yes.
Don't be a loser like me. But
absolutely,
somewhere the horizons are not open. You have said it in 2010. It's difficult for me to believe कि 2010 में भी ऐसा था गुजरात में कि
अभी तक ऐसा है, अभी तक भी ऐसा है. Jैसे I'll tell you about our
large part of our country.
Our casting, when the two of the kids who are the part of the Lala gang, who are someone's friend, their parents were strictly against cinema. They said we don't mingle with the people. You can't go with the film people, including Bhavin Rabari's parents were not very convinced initially to have their kids with film people for several months, because I don't know who feeds them this information, how do they get it, but it's also because most of the film people, it's such a mystery, people who work in industry, because they are not allowed on any shooting. They don't know how the films are made. They only survive on gossip and what exists on gossip. And very often the sensational news are spread. What is highlighted is one actor married 5 times. Which will be seen very badly, in the small village. So they don't, there are so many elements, are at work, so it's very hard to go to a Rabari family who have been grazing camel all their life, have cows, living peacefully, and say, okay, your son will be actor in my movie, they're not going to embrace it, because they have so much of pride, even money, you can't buy that pride with money, and that was the case in Bhavin's mother, he said, no, he said, no way. He's going, and then his father argued. I think you have to interview Bhavin. He will tell you the story better than me. And his mother said, "No, film वाले उठा के ले जाके बिगाड़ देंगे मेरे लड़के को." So father ने बोला, हमारे पास 2 है, एक गया तो जाने दो ना. And that's how Bhavin ended up with us.
No, but amazing talent, and you've used a lot of the local talent there to be able to try and give them space and also to use them. And some of them are amazing. That chemistry between the character who plays the projectionist, just amazing with the kid to build that. How long did you take to shoot this movie? You shot it in a month, 2 months, 3 months? How much?
Yeah, I think it was longer than that. First of all, the local talent, as you said rightly, it always surprises me whether I make movie in Ladakh or here, how much talent there is, in India. It's always, I'm blown away. Even though some people are not right for my movie, but the amount of talent we came across, just in small region of Kathiawar was just something else. So the process, we took about 4, 5 or 6 months to settle and agree that, okay, we are going to go back and shoot in the locations where I grew up. There were challenges because there are not many hotels there. So the comfort, how do we manage? Second, there are wild leopards and lions roaming every day. They come on the set, So that was like a lot of those things have to be taken care of. But when the whole team, came there, cinematographer, costume designer, we were all there, and we realized that it has to be shot here, and there was a reason I was insisting that we have to film this year. And from there on, because we had children, we couldn't agree, on the shorter normal film schedule, and luckily I'm also a little bit of a producer on the films. I said, okay, we will not increase the budget, but I'll find a way to increase the shooting days. So we shot over 3.5 months, but 65 shoot days. And just kind of wrapped just luckily before the pandemic, because otherwise it would have been an incomplete movie. Because even in that short duration of time, I could see the physical transformation in kids, because they grow so fast, and I look at what happened to this, and with that age group, the physical transformation is very rapid. So
very rapid. To maintain continuity is also not easy, because and I've seen that. I've got 2 young children, so I travel and I come back and say, "Are you to bade ho gaye yaar? 5-10 din ke very different dikhta hai." So I understand where you're coming from. I love that scene when you see you showing this boy's perspective of how he's trying to see the world through a bottle. That shot was brilliantly taken, and I think that transition also, when I saw it, was just some things just stay with you, in the scenes, some poignant, that chemistry, like I said, between the projections, jaise dosti hoti hai, he gets and sits there. So some of these scenes were phenomenal. Even that 3 different glasses on the railway track and the perspective, just amazing, and it just brings out some special. But Siddharth, did you go there?
I didn't actually. So I actually got involved in the film. I got involved in the film when it was shot already. And Hiran Nalin brought it to me and, showed it to me and said, would I like to be involved in like sort of presenting it and then the next leg of the journey. So I had the opportunity to not have to go through all those arduous days of shoot that with lions and leopards on the set. No, I mean, it was the first time I saw the film also, pretty similar reactions to what you're having, which is that it stayed with me. I mean, it stayed with me for many days.
And then the mind in his did he turn around and ask you Oscar milega ki nahi milega? Nalin? Did Siddharth ask you this question?
No, he didn't ask me. No. I mean, our main discussion was how do we distribute and take it to people in India, But Ashutosh Gawarikar, when he saw the film, I think 6 months ago, he said, tuxedo banao, you are going to Oscars. You know, he predicted it. He told Dheer, तैयार हो जाओ, आपको जाते होगा.
अभी आपने पब्लिकली बोल दिया मिल गया ऑस्कर, तो आशुतोष जी बोलेगा क्रेडिट मुझे भी जाता है क्योंकि मैंने प्रेडिक्ट किया था.
पक्का ले जाएंगे उनको एकदम.
Anyways, लेके जा रहे हैं उनके. His movie Jodha Akbar is anyways featured in the film, so theoretically he is going. He is well.
हाँ, I know the choice of the movies also. ये किसका decision था? That, and why did you choose the? I am running out of time, but I want to understand this. ये picture जो आपने दिखाया वहाँ celluloid पे, पहले तो जय महाकाली, उसके बाद वो शत्रुघ्न सिन्हा वाला जो मूवी था. I said, dude, ये कहाँ से? How did he think about this one? फिर suddenly it become जोधा अकबर, और उसके बीच में भी there is one more that he goes to see, वो जहाँ पे वो he misses, I forget the name of the movie, and he misses the train और रात को बेंच पे सोता है, अगले दिन. हाँ, correct. So I was like, ये कहाँ से टाइटल मिले? फिर then I thought कि शायद इसी का राइट्स मिला होगा, so that's why you would have.
No, it was consciously written. Certain, of course, right issues were there. We had to get rights, but they were like subplots in the film. What Sama is watching is very important, not the movie. You know, from his point of view. So in the first part, when he falls in love with the movie, when he gets thrown out, it was very clear to me it has to be a big magnum opus, you know, like Jodha Akbar, larger than life, beautiful hero, Hrithik Roshan, Aishwarya Rai, you know, like everything which make a dream, you know, with costume and songs, and that I was very clear. So, you know, every element had to play its role in what he's watching, because it's part of coming of age story also along with him, you know, that what is he perceiving, you know, how does he see the action, and you know, he sees, you know, Hrithik Roshan character fighting the elephant, and you know, everything is changing as he's watching types of movie. And then how, you know, some of the scene can bond their friendship. So that's where we had, you know, Amitabh Bachchan scene with, you know, they just how they make a play about it, the cucumber, and so I think that was kind of important subplot running throughout the film.
But it's not easy, right? That's what the second half tells you. Easy, and it can be painful, and it can be quite you know, a lesson in life. So final words, Siddharth, what do you expect and what would you like to tell our viewers?
Well, to start with, just hoping everyone goes to the cinema and watches the film on the 14th of October, the 13th night if you choose to, for 95 rupees, but 14th onwards. And, you know, enjoy the film and wish us luck at the Academy Awards. We hope to make India proud.
And if Cinema Paradiso could get it in 88, there's no reason why the Chhello Show shouldn't get it in 2022. Copy hai, inspired hai ki nahi hai. We'll start where we ended and we'll say, dono dekh ke aao. We'll decide karo.
All the very best. बहुत सारी देखनी पड़ेगी. Spielberg की भी देखनी पड़ेगी. Tablesman, Empire of Light, बहुत सारी फिल्में.
No, absolutely wonderful speaking with you. All the very, very best. जाइए और भारत का नाम रोशन कीजिए. झंडा लहरा के आइए. That's what I can pray, hope and pray. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's lovely speaking with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.